do you want to? I've got some questions. I
All
thought
right.
first episode of like this kind of whatever this is um, could be a bit about like the founder story. So Thomas, I want to hear more about you. So let everyone know what your background is, what your personal goals are, what you're doing at the moment, and I think a really good thing to capture, which gets lost in the process and the journey, is like your feeling of like how you feel. Maybe not like, hey, I feel like this today, but like where you are overall in life, or like where you were when you started this. And yeah, give us all an intro.
All righty. So, all right, let's begin from the beginning. I am Tomas Vivaldi from Brazil,
Nice.
and for most of my life, I was living and growing up on Brazil, up to the point where at 20, I went to Japan. In Japan, I went there like it was honestly, man, it was completely random. I didn't want to go to Japan. I didn't have any dreams or aspirations to go to Japan. What happened was my friend told me about a scholarship exam that he took, and then he went the year before to Japan. And then I was like, huh, interesting. I will check it out. So I go there and I take the exam, and I received this message saying, you were approved for a scholarship in Japan. And I was like, oh, sweet. I guess I'll be going then.
What was the scholarship for?
It was for university studies.
Yeah, nice.
So basically, I arrived in Japan, and for the first year, I was studying only the language,
Hmm.
Japanese language. And of course, at first it was only the language, but then it got like more specifically towards the language that I would be using in school. So I had classes of chemistry in Japanese, physics in Japanese, and so on and so forth. And after that 1 year learning Japanese, I entered a Japanese university,
Hmm.
and I was taking classes as like a normal Japanese student. So I started studying mechanical engineering actually, and my class was like 105 people. 100 of those 105 were Japanese.
Nice.
Three were Korean, one was Chinese, and then there was me, the
Nice. You only
only non-Asian in the 100 people class. So yeah, all the lessons, everything was in Japanese, except for like couple lessons every semester that was with the international students.
hmm
And yeah, I've studied like 3 or 4 years in that university.
hmm
But then in the middle of the studies, I began finding like some opportunities here and there. I did a internship in a German company actually that was in Japan.
Nice.
And I also started getting like some clients for freelancing and
What type
also
of freelancing? So software stuff.
yeah, software stuff. So I started making websites.
So are you self-taught for the software side of things?
Yeah, 100% self-taught.
Nice.
Um,
Great.
I started actually the same friend that told me about the scholarship in
Hmm.
Japan. He also told me that he was selling websites for people for like thousands of dollars, and I was like, whoa, that's crazy, dude.
Nice.
So he showed me like how he was doing it, and he said, "Oh, you watch like these tutorials on YouTube." So I just started watching the tutorials and then making like the website like the tutorials were saying.
Hmm.
And at first it was like super confusing, but you stick to it and like somehow it works down the line. And yeah, that's how I kind of started to dip my toes into more web development, software development stuff. But also, while I was doing that, Tokyo, where I was living, there's like lots of foreigners and there's always some stuff going on. There's lots of opportunities.
Hmm.
So one of the opportunities that came my way was I met this promoter in one of the biggest clubs in Tokyo. And
Nice.
that's like big, Sam. It's like Lil Pump. I don't know if you know if you're up with the rappers and stuff, like Lil Pump, uh, Bruno Mars, like big names. They when they went to Japan to do like a show or something, they also went to this club and performed at this club.
Hmm.
So that's like a big venue, like big name in the industry. So I met this promoter from this club, and I was just curious. So I asked him, "Hey man, what does a promoter do?" And he was like dude, like super American from LA. He was like, "Bro, you want to do what a promoter do? You just come here next Friday night. I'm gonna teach you everything." So like I show up next Friday night, and he's like, "Okay, Thomas, come. This is what we do. Like we have the tables here. We have to get the clients, and then they buy drinks. We like make sure that everything is okay." So like ever since that day, I've been like a promoter for that club as well,
Okay, nice.
and
Smashing out
we've done
social
like
content.
bunch of events in different venues and like also promoting on the club, having like the tables, managing the tables. And yeah, man, it was crazy. Um,
Wouldn't go back into the nightlife game, huh?
I've been out of the nightlife game for a while now. And honestly, like recently I've been waking up quite early. Recently I mean like 1 year plus now.
Okay. How old are you? I've totally forgot.
I'm 27. Close to you,
27.
no?
Pardon?
Close to you, no?
Yeah, well, I'm going to be 30 next week. Literally less than a, yeah.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for it. New stage of life. But yeah, I did not wake up. No, I did start waking up early, I think at 27. But yeah. All right. So how fast forward there slightly. How did you end up in? So we met in Bali. How did you end up there? And well, what time period? Am I jumping too far ahead? What's
Um, it depends. Like I've been doing the uni and promotion for a while, and
Yeah,
then also because I was doing like all the promoter stuff, also with the clients and uni. At some point, it was like a little bit too much to do
yeah.
everything, so I kind of began neglecting the uni a little bit.
Hmm.
And what happened was I repeated 1 year, and then I repeated another, and then I was like, enough's enough. Gotta get serious again for the uni stuff. So I stopped doing the promoter stuff, and I started concentrating more into the uni stuff. But then what happened was I was renewing my student visa for Japan,
Hmm.
because all of that I was doing while I was studying. And this last time that I went to renew my visa, they were looking at like my university records and looking at my visa, and they were like, nope, no.
Oh man,
So
that's
my student visa extension, it got denied, man. So I had to leave the country, right?
partying too hard.
And working and everything else at the same time. Yeah, that's what happens, man. So I left Japan. It's almost 2 years now since I left Japan. So around 2 years ago, in October 3rd, I still remember. I packed my bags and I went to Thailand.
Okay,
And
nice.
I went to Thailand because I knew I did not want to go back to Brazil.
Hmm.
And I also could not stay in Japan. So I was like, fuck it, I'll travel. So all this stuff that I had in Japan for like 6 years in total that I was there, I either fit into one backpack or threw away. So whatever did not fit in the backpack, I either like threw away or gave to some friends or got rid of it. So I had like this one backpack and I started traveling. First I went to Thailand and then I was going around a bit from around Southeast Asia.
Hmm.
And then at some point I went to Bali where I met you, Sam.
Yeah, man, that was sick. I don't know what month that was in. Was it? I can't remember. It must have been March, April time,
Yeah, I
2023.
have the feeling it was like around April.
Nice. And we had a mutual friend, didn't we? In Brigida.
Brigitte, yeah.
Yeah, couldn't believe that. Man.
So
Absolutely.
funny, man.
Um, right. Okay. So let's go on to the next question. So, so we met in Bali. What were your first impressions? I honestly, I think I was just overwhelmed because I was knackered and I didn't. We met in the entrepreneurs hostel, right? Which actually
Yeah.
makes me want to throw up in my mouth when I talk about it. It's so embarrassing. Entrepreneur in Draper's hostel. Um, where was our first impression? You were probably working. My first impression of you was you just work like an absolute animal, and you were just like constantly like working. Do you remember your first impression of me? Like when? How did we get introduced?
I don't remember how I got introduced, but I remember like not specifically the first time that I saw you, but like the first times that I saw you, I do remember that you're like super into the Muay Thai classes
Oh, no.
and you're like going for like the parties at night and
No, you're
like
outing me.
living the life. And I was like, damn, this guy is
Uh,
doing well.
telephone microphone, right? I remember that. You teach me that from your taekwondo.
Yeah, yeah.
Never forgot it. Um, yeah, no, that was an awesome stage. So then, so let's talk about 80K View then. That came about. Obviously, we had Johnny and Liv as well.
Hmm.
I think Johnny, to be honest, was like a real big driving force behind it as well.
Yeah,
But,
definitely.
what I guess what kind of drew you, like what excited you about the project, of like kind of building something out, because obviously it started from a spreadsheet,
Hmm.
but what was like the thing where you thought, oh, there could be something here? Was it a conversation with Johnny, or yeah, just
Yeah, so at first you showed us the spreadsheet, and my first impression was like, whoa, that's actually super interesting. And the most interesting thing about it that I thought was that you're already doing that for 5 years or so at the
seven,
point.
7 years, yeah, or 6 years.
7.
Would
Damn.
have been
And I was
6 years
like,
later.
wow, like once you have all that data about your own life and you can go back and see where some certain stuff affect you
Hmm.
and you can have that information to improve your life moving forward. I thought that was super interesting. But the actual product idea came with Johnny. He was he was talking about it and he was like super hyped about it, like this could be big and like there's something here and we should definitely make a product out of this spreadsheet. And yeah, I think that's how the main idea of a product for 80K came from.
Yeah, for sure. So I think Johnny got excited as well because it's a spreadsheet and he's got a finance background, which is which is enough to get any accountant buzzing. I kind of always thought it could be a thing, and I've given the spreadsheet out to a few people, but when Johnny was like super passionate about it and like kind of pushing it forward and thinking about. But to be honest, I remember we chatted about it, and we're all four of us were on a call, and it was about we were talking about just like selling the spreadsheet, I think,
Mm,
as opposed to building a product is how I remembered it. I think, yeah, whether it's bad or good, and maybe it's my fault we're in this rabbit hole, but like, yeah, I think I I don't know. There's something for me where, and we can get on this to another episode, but like I wasn't excited to really just sell a spreadsheet. I felt like I wanted to build something like bigger,
hmm
um, because I just didn't really want to be, yeah, I just didn't want to. But yeah, Johnny was definitely a driving force, and I think like you, the fact that you were keen as well from a technical perspective to actually kind of get involved with that is actually it's weird how things can come together just to that just happen. Sometimes things just click. Um, but yeah, that's awesome. And why we're on that as well, because it was a learning curve. We can talk about kind of what we want or what you want out of it afterwards. But like what from like the research calls as well, you mentioned what stood out to you the most. Like remember when we were going throughout the research call period, and I think we spoke to about 25 people in a month, which was really really cool. What
hmm
was like what got how did your perception of it change then? What were you excited about? What were kind of like the key themes and trends that stood out to you from like what people were saying, and perhaps like what surprised you?
The thing that I like about these review calls that we had is that there are so many ideas that would never cross through our heads that other people come up with.
Yeah.
So I feel like through those calls there were like so many points that of course they were telling us what to fix, some stuff that was just wrong with the code or with the website, but
Mhm.
also the ideas that people give us that like because you already have your conception formalized about this product, this idea that we have, and so do I. But when somebody from outside of our little bubble comes in, they come in with a fresh pair of eyes, a fresh idea that they can give us, and sometimes from a perspective that we haven't thought about before. And I think that was uh, the coolest thing about those calls that we had.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, yeah. Well, how has that changed? And maybe it hasn't, but like, has it changed your views on how to build products, for example? Did you underestimate or overestimate, the importance of like customer research? I know you've always been bullish on it, but like sometimes I remember when I first started talking to customers, I had like the same revelation like moment with my like other products,
hmm
and yeah, like has it changed? I don't really want to talk too much about
Yeah,
myself. Like, did it help you?
yeah. So at first, I think the general idea that I had in mind was we wanted to get just a base, simple product out
Hmm.
and like just ship that as fast as possible,
Yeah,
just like the bare minimum. But after the product calls, I was more like, wow, there's so much more that we can do with this, and uh, it would be like so much better to include some of the ideas that were coming our way. So I think my perspective changed more from like this, let's just ship a bare bones, bare minimum thing that works to a let's make something exceptional out of this.
yeah, it's interesting. The how a few things changed for me as well. It was more you'll meet people and they never want to tell you their business idea, which is totally fine. Some like, but on like the rarest of chances, I think that's like the only on very few times do I think that's maybe the right idea to do. But it's like when you start talking to people and you be open with it and sharing ideas, these people, they could steal their idea, I think. Like, sure, whatever. But like the benefits super outweigh the cons because you just learn so much more so quickly. You get all these different perspectives, which can be a bad thing. But if you're organized and like regimented and prioritize stuff, you can really like build something really good, really quick. Um, and the other aspect is what was I going to say? Yeah, to your point, it's like especially when you have software developers, I found like on the calls as well. Software developers want to know what they're building is like worth something or like that it's actually going to get used. So when you include kind of software minded people onto the call and they hear directly from like the horse's mouth, so to speak, what these features would really benefit me because like
Hmm.
it motivates the whole team a lot better. And I think that's something that I'm always going to try and like incorporate now going forward, building products. So
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I
yeah,
definitely agree with that.
what are your another thing that I'll say on that from the research is I always thought that this was going to be a tool that would the main benefit would be to help people organize their life and like push themselves forward. But like to your point, the first thing you thought about and what the majority of people spoke about on the research calls were they like this like retrospective diary thing, like this minimal effort, but they've got like this retrospective diary, which never would have kind of like that basically ruins our assumptions or my assumption from day one. What are you hoping ATK View achieves as a platform, and I guess what are your personal goals with it as well?
Let me begin with the personal goals.
Nice. Me,
I
me.
I think we can have a place where it's going to help not only more entrepreneurial people, but also like just normal people, like all kinds of people can take advantage of the platform. Like in my mind, the way I visualize it is we have somewhere where we can go and one, reflect about what we've done in the past, two, plan better on what we can do in the future, and three, share and share experiences that can improve our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And having these three things together can help you have a more, I don't know how to put it, like more exciting life,
Fulfilling life, yeah, exciting,
fulfilling
fulfilling,
life, yeah.
yeah.
Because I mean, sure, like nowadays people spend so much time with just social media, and like I myself sometimes there are like some months that I feel like I basically lost the entire month. And at the end of the month, when you look back and you see what you've done and you reflect about it, you're like, oh shit, I could have done like so much more this month.
Mm-hmm.
And by doing like so much more every month, you can become so much more like a year, 2 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I feel like the platform can be somewhere that can help people. I don't want to say like find themselves because that's kind of cringe, right? But like not get lost into the sea of content that is out there in the internet nowadays.
For sure, yeah. And what like bigger goal? Well, I guess you answered both of those there, kind of thing. Um, yeah, unless you've got anything to build on that, you kind of answer both, like the bigger goal. And you mentioned who's it built for? You think entrepreneurial people. Um, who else? Like, do you want to? Is it just going to be for entrepreneurs, or you want to like push the boundaries of helping everyone, or?
Yeah, so I feel like anyone can take advantage of this platform,
Yeah.
but I also feel like entrepreneurial people would be the kind of people most excited for a product like this
Hmm.
because I feel like these are the kind of people that are constantly trying to push and improve, like actively improve their lives
Hmm.
constantly. And that's basically our one of our main objectives, right? To improve the lives of people. And of course, some people are already looking for that, but some other are not necessarily looking for that, and more from like the other aspects that we also have in the product.
Yeah.
So definitely, I feel like entrepreneurial people would take the most advantage of the platform.
Yeah, I think that's what we're going to start with on that. I did recently hear something that like I think we might be underestimating like the older demographics. Like if we're trying to build like a super simple product, there are a lot of people that are a bit older that have had kids and trying to like refine fulfillment, which who also have money. Which I don't mean that from us as a capitalistic standpoint. Well, that helps, but it's more like they've got money to like. It's a different approach to fulfillment. It's like when you haven't got money, you've got time. So like go on runs and stuff, go to the gyms, but like you can kind of accelerate experiences with money. So for example, if you're older, you could maybe hire a PT or something, or like in a way you couldn't potentially show impact or get them to fulfillment quicker. Maybe I don't know. That needs to be tested, but that's something that I've been thinking about this week. Um, Personally, so we're kind of coming to the end here. What's it been like working with me? And I guess I think like this is already like being. I thought we could do both in one episode, but let's just separate the episodes out. So let's make this all about you.
Definitely.
What's it been like working with me? And yeah, I don't know. Say or like on the whole project. How have you felt about it? And be
I
as honest as
actually
you. I think this is like some honest. It's great to be honest because we can look back on this and be like, oh, oof.
I actually really like working with you, Sam.
Well,
I
I'm glad
feel
this is
like
being recorded. This is fantastic.
I actually feel like throughout the year, whenever we would talk, uh, either just to each other or about the product or in general, I always felt like this feeling of hype afterwards, you know?
Oh God, no!
I was
You
like,
must be a cheerleader.
damn, yeah, motivational speaker.
Oh yeah, no, please, Lord, no, I don't want that.
But yeah, like it's always like exciting to talk with you, and uh, you always have your other stuff going on as well, and I always think it's like super interesting how you have like all these different projects going on, and you manage like all of them at the same time so well.
I
And
wouldn't say well, Thomas, but yeah, that's, I try. Yeah, I try.
but yeah, it's kind of like um inspiring in a way for me as a wannabe entrepreneur like yourself.
Oh, well, no, you don't want to be me, but you want to be the opposite to me. But no, yeah, if maybe next week we record like one for me, I don't know, but like, and we can talk about it.
Hmm.
But no, it's been a pleasure to work with you as well. Um, I think yeah, I've been like we've had like it's been like very stop start with lots of sort of stuff, but I'm
Hmm.
hoping like with a bit more discipline, which we seem to be getting into, we'll start pushing this along. What do you hate about working with me,
What do I hate about working with you?
or strongly dislike if you don't want to be that mean?
Strongly dislike. Well, for starters, your dislike for gradients.
Oh
Has
my
to
god,
be
no,
on
that's what I
top
was
of the
going to say. I
list.
hate about you. I do not like it. But anyway,
Dude, like, um,
I mean, if anyone's watching this and they ever do, like, maybe this gets big and then the video blows up, how it does in retrospect. And like, I would love to take a poll, like in the comments of like, are gradients in 2024 or are gradients out? Because I can't wait to show people like when we've got like a full-time UX UI designer building like the platform out, and the research is clear that gradients are hideous. I can go, Thomas, I told you so. You've
I don't
kind of
know,
got me by the
Sam.
balls at the moment because it's like you're the developer, and it's like,
I
oh,
have the
I
power.
yeah, I can't literally go in there and change it myself. But moving on, that's a heated question. What's let's end on this one as well. So what's like one, like maybe coming up, like not super like blue sky thinking, because we can all do that, but like what's like the next one feature, and we're lucky enough to be in that sort of position. Like we've got research, and really you should build what the customers want next. But we're kind of so early on, and we've got like a bare bones product, that we've still got kind of a bit of. To be honest, Thomas, this is probably the funnest part of the journey from my experience. It's like we've got control over what we build now. Like as soon as
Hmm.
you've got like a ton of customers, it's like they have control. But what's the one thing that you're looking forward to building next into the platform?
There's one thing that I'm really excited to try and make it work into the platform, which is the long-term goals feature.
Nice. I'm writing this down so that if next week you haven't done it, there you go.
So, you mentioned before about having like on the initial dashboard, we have that table which shows like the years and each month with a score.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that it would be cool to have like by, let's say, December 2025, you want to accomplish, I don't know, like you want to run a marathon.
Hmm.
So obviously you're going to be training until December 2025 for the marathon.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to put a feature that would be like, would have two parts. The first one is the goal itself that you want to accomplish and like have a pop-up kind of like over there reminds you that by this date you have this goal that you want to accomplish.
Yeah.
But also the second part of that is having somewhere where you can put down what are you doing every day or every week or every month to accomplish that goal.
Yeah, I love that. I actually think that's really cool. So we talked about the retrospective stuff as well, didn't we? Of like, hey, we can look back and see what we've done. But it'd be cool, especially on the landing page and homepage, where you've got like, here's your 5 years, and like it's halfway through, right? So it's like, here's the last 2.5 years backwards, here's the next 2.5 years forwards, and it's got like maybe a little dot on it or something, and you can hover over it, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like, here's my sport goal, here's my finance goal, here's my thing, and then
Yeah.
every month it could be contextual as well, like using AI, and maybe we're giving all away our best ideas here to our competition. But at the same time, I think if we're starting this company in the hope that it helps lots of people, the more the competition, the better. Like best of luck to them. But it'd be really cool if it was contextual. So it's like, hey, I want to earn £1 million by the end of this time next year or something, and that means I've got 12 months, which means I need, I don't know, rough maths, $84,000 a month to do that. And then, hey, if I make no money in the first 2 months, it updates and it's like, you now need to make £100,000 a month for the next 10 months. Or like
Mm-hmm.
running, it's like, if you want to run 26 miles but you haven't reached that goal, it's like, here's now where you extend it if you're going to make it. And it all works back. It like gives you a backwards plan, um, to what like you're achieving. I think that would
Mm-hmm.
be absolutely wicked, because that gives people some excitement as well to work forward to. Um, right. Okay. Well, I think this was a good little kind of first session. founder interview, episode 1 of 80k view,
Yeah,
building
exciting.
out in the open. We probably should come up with some catchy phrase for it. Any parting words for anyone? Or this is going to go down in history, Thomas. So like here's your chance to say something from day one.
Okay, so um, let's see. In 5 years, what is this going to be looking like, Sam? We have our
Oh, that is a great.
empire,
Yeah,
80k empire, and
yeah,
this
a
is the first
legion of ambitious
episode,
people. That's a really
first
great
step.
question, man. That's an
Damn.
awesome. Um, I don't know, and whatever comes out of my mouth will be completely wrong. But I love the concept of like this helping well in 5 years, like 10 million people. If like it catches and we build something people really want, is definitely achievable. Maybe I'm not thinking big enough. Like, um, it seems crazy to say that right now. Like genuinely deep inside me, I'm like 10 million people. Like the biggest kind of built community is like or been a part of a growth that's like 120,000 people, and that took 2 years to get to.
Wow.
But like, yeah, if 10 million, that would be awesome to have like 10 million people actively really using it. And 80k view, it's not about the software, it's about the community. So it's like the tool helps everyone like organize their life on an individual level, and it's got the diary element to it as well. But like it's the community, and it's like maybe it's on school, if that's still around, like Sam Ovens and Alex Hormozy's platform.
Hmm.
um, and it's like just ambitious people connecting people and like helping them achieve their goals. And like, for example, hey, I want to run a marathon next year at this date. Someone else has put that in as their thing, and it's like matching them up, saying like, hey, you guys are accountable. Like that would be an awesome product to build, I think.
Yeah. And like the vision just came to my mind as well. Like, uh, while all of that is happening online, we also have our co-working space in Bali where everybody can come chill together.
No, not a co-working stuff. I mean, that could also work actually. I quite like that. I like the idea of a digital detox retreat, but maybe there's a working area too. Maybe that could be your personal goal. You you can just buy a villa in Bali, and I like that. I like the idea of it being online and offline. So a lot of the goals we talk about, or almost every goal we talk about, is to do with offline, right? I want to earn money. You do that online, but you want to earn money because it gives you a better life offline.
Yeah.
Or you want to run. Well, you can write that in your journal, but you still got to go and do the reps. So yeah, I think having a brand presence yeah, I mean, mate, I think we live in a world now where like you can build big companies in terms of revenue and reach with like very few people. Because when I was growing up, I really wanted like a company of like hundreds of employees, and I thought that'd be really, really cool. But like, yeah, maybe we have some form of like global presence and like reps and stuff. Wow, that's a great conversation. I like that. I like that a lot. Let's end there. All right, I will click stop.
Alrighty, Sam. It was a pleasure talking to you today.
Yeah, always, Thomas. Ciao. Right. Okay.